Welcome to the final episode of our special Frontiers Health limited series of the pharmaphorum podcast. This is your host, Nicole Raleigh, and in order to mark the 10th anniversary of Frontiers Health, pharmaphorum has been running a short series in the run-up to the event in November, speaking with experts in their field about their favourite memories from the conference over the past decade and the future of health more generally. In this final episode, I'll be speaking with the chairman of Frontiers Health, Roberto Ascione, a serial entrepreneur, thought leader in health innovation and digital health, global executive, CEO, and founder of Healthware Group, and president of health innovation at Eversana. A pleasure to speak with you today, Roberto.
Hi, Nicole. My pleasure.
So Frontiers Health is hosted and powered by Eversana. It emerged as one of the premier global health innovation events, with a strong focus on digital therapies, breakthrough technologies, healthcare transformation, investments, and ecosystem development. Practitioners of disruptive health engage in highly inspirational, informative, sometimes controversial sessions and conversations, all intended to provide companies, entrepreneurs, and venture capitalists with a useful roadmap, key insights, top-level learning, and unparalleled networking. Before we begin with our main theme, though, Roberto, perhaps you could introduce yourself briefly to listeners and describe the journey, the passions that have driven you to doing what you do today.
Sure. Well, my career started nearly 30 years ago as at the time that I was a medical student. And I wanted really to marry power of technology with medicine. At the time, my vision was to essentially provide care to a lot more people through technology than what I could have done as an individual physician. Back then, that didn't exist. So that led me to founding the first company. Today, you would say a startup. And since then, I've been building companies, eventually exiting those to bigger players where I stayed for some time, and then doing again from slightly incremental angles as technology became more and more powerful. The healthcare journey culminated, in fact, into Eversana, where I'm now, as you said before, leading health innovation. And parallel to that journey, Frontiers Health shaped up now, more than 10 years ago, which I've been very pleased to be the chairman all along. And Frontiers served as a platform for companies, pharmaceutical companies, health insurers, startups, scale-ups, investors to really get together and progress through digital health at the very large health innovation, I would say even more specifically, over those years of great changes. And I think, as we'll probably discuss more, planted the seed for the promise of health innovation to become real in the very near future.
Thank you, Roberto. So, as you say, taking that promise into reality in the spheres of digital health and digital innovation. So, my first question for you, Roberto, what is your favorite memory from Frontiers Health?
That's a very tough question to answer because there have been so many moments that made this journey very special. I can tell you that Frontiers is really the product of a lot of energy from a lot of people from around the world, Europe and US particularly, that truly feel Frontiers as the home of the health innovation ecosystem. This is not me saying, but has been said by a lot of people in the past year. So while I cannot give you just one memory, I can tell you that those moments where you get on stage and you welcome health innovators, which is our, the way we have been always opening, feels every year very special. The moment that you see our opening keynote, which is always a patient story coming to life, marrying patient, advocacy, patient-driven innovation, often entrepreneurship that comes from that grounding feels highly rewarding. And likewise, a number of moments where you've seen maybe an idea that you saw just like being, just introduced at Frontiers and becoming a highly impactful company over the years. All those moments feel very, very special. And I believe this 10th anniversary will be a mine of those special memories coming to life, while also a platform to produce great new stories moving forward.
New stories and indeed new memories, one might hazard to say. So if we sort of springboard now from talking about Frontiers Health itself and the promises into reality and the rewarding quality of it in its diverse interconnectivity, as it were, I want to come back to your work outside of Frontiers Health, Roberto. What are the 3 key focus areas there, and how are they informed by, and how do they perhaps inform Frontiers Health?
In the work that we do at Eversana, specifically in my area, we look at ways that health innovation and digital health particularly are able to do a few different things. On one end, focusing on pharmaceutical companies, we help them to adopt cutting-edge technologies. And of course, in the last years, AI and Gen AI specifically, through their commercial processes, through their medical affairs practices, and so on and so forth, in a very tangible way, in a way that allows them to shorten time to diagnosis, for example, think rare diseases, or accelerate the time to market of products by delivering novel pharmaceutical solutions faster to patients, but also staying close to physicians through automation, support in decision-making, and so on and so forth. The other field that we really focus on is digital health at large, spanning from everything that gets, once again, patients and physicians progress more smoothly through the various patient journeys. You can think to direct-to-patient platforms. You can think to the equivalent that we call direct-to-disease for rest of the world, but also ways we can essentially remove as much friction as possible from patient journey by enhancing them digitally. And this is something that pharmaceutical companies are more and more adopting and facilitating for physicians and patients alike. So those are a couple of areas where we focus a lot. And those things, you can connect them to Frontiers in a way that maybe some successful cases are being presented and discussed, but also technology companies meet pharmaceutical companies and other stakeholders within the ecosystem in an environment that favor discussion, dialogue, and new advancement. So I would say that the activity that we do outside is bringing these novel technologies, and their integration within the ecosystem is highly connected to the stories and the dialogue and the advancement that happens typically at Frontiers. I like to see these 2 aspects like in yin and yang of the way we design innovation. And this is really big part of the magic that happens at Frontiers. It was true for us at Eversana, but is also true for so many other players within the health innovation and digital health ecosystem.
Thank you, Roberto. And what happens at Frontiers is indeed, as you described then, a magic. So my final question for you, in your opinion, what is one word or one phrase that will define the future of health?
I would say human intelligence. And the reason why I say this is because, as I also put in my book for Wiley, The Future of Health, as an example, which now is a few years ago, but contains still ideas that we're still working on and other things that eventually materialized as discussed there. I think the adoption at scale of health innovation and digital health technologies, mainly powered by artificial intelligence, at the end of the day will humanize care. And the way I define humanizing care is essentially to make the highest standards of care accessible and sustainable to as many people as possible, hopefully to everyone. That's really what I think the emerging new future technologies, AI at the very core, will bring to medicine, obviously through an adaptation and transition phase where we'll have to deal with all the challenge that massive shifts of paradigm like this that we are living have to happen, thinking to the data security and everything around ethics, system integration, training, change management. All of those will create the certain, I would say, bumps in the road, which is perfectly normal when you shift gears at that magnitude. But I'm extremely positive for the future. And as I said, I see this human intelligence driven future of medicine. That's exactly what I've been working on for so long. And with all my teams, we are currently and will still work on for the future.
Thank you. There you have it, listeners. There might be bounces in the road at this time of transformation, but that road will lead us to a positive future of health. And there you have it, the end of the Frontiers Health limited series of the pharmaphorum podcast. Thank you, Roberto. It's been a pleasure.
Same here. Thank you very much.
And that concludes another episode of the pharmaphorum podcast. You can find more information about this episode, including a download link and information about previous installments at pharmaphorum.com/podcasts. The pharmaphorum podcast is also available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Overcast, Pocket Casts, Podbean, and pretty much wherever else you download your other podcasts from. Just search for pharmaphorum and follow and hit subscribe. Of course, don't forget to visit our website itself, where you can sign up for daily and weekly news and analysis bulletins. And do follow us on Blue Sky and LinkedIn at pharmaphorum. That's all for now. Thank you for listening.